the number of people who take some sort of positive action as a business owner that you want them to take is substantially less than the number of people who leave. Hi folks, I'm Alistair McDermott from Website Doctor, and today I'm going to do a short video on the whiteboard here. And what I'm going to do is on the topic of online sales funnels. So I get a lot of people asking me what's the difference between an online sales funnel and a website or an e-commerce website. So I just want to talk to you about what the main differences are and kind of how you should set up your own website to create this kind of automated online sales funnel. So I'll give you a bit of background about it. So what this is set up to combat is the concept of when you have your website, your regular standard website. For most websites, the number of people who take some sort of positive action as a business owner that you want them to take, like for example to buy or to make an inquiry, is substantially less than the number of people who leave. So for most websites, that number is something like the buyers and inquirers is between 1 and 5% or so. So usually, let's be generous and say 1 to 8%. And then the amount of people who are leaving, that's about 92 to 99%. So the issue here is if 92 to 95% of your website visitors who visit your website leave and never come back, how can you capture more of them? How can you make use of the traffic that you're getting? Because when you start to put effort into traffic generation, you're spending money on Google AdWords, on Facebook ads, or you're writing blog posts and you're doing social media. All of that is going to waste if you do not have some way of capturing more and moving more from the leavers into the buy and the inquiries. So what you can do is you can set up an automated sales funnel. So you'll see this quite typically in information marketing because that tends to be one of the market leaders. But you'll also see it's now becoming much more common. So the first thing is when somebody comes to your site, rather than trying to get them to buy or to make an inquiry straight away, what you do is you offer them something of value for free in order to entice them to opt into an email, so that you can then send them emails. So you'll see that. So I'm going to call this a lead magnet because that's kind of an industry standard term that I think it was created by Ryan Dice and Digital Marketer. So I'll put that down as lead magnet, and that costs nothing. So and in return for that you get their email. So somebody enters this sales funnel, they arrive on your website, and the first thing you do is you offer them something that's genuinely of value. Now that lead magnet is typically something like a checklist or a cheat sheet, or sometimes it's like a webinar. It's a free webinar where they can go on and learn something. So it's something that's genuinely of value to them in that it helps them solve a problem that they have. And that's the problem that your business solves for your customer. So the first thing you do is you offer them that lead magnet. And then what you have is you have an autoresponder. And what that is that's a sequence of emails. And that could be, it could be a single email, but most people do a sequence of something like 7 or 14 emails, and they're typically sent either every day or every 2 days. And so what this sequence of emails is, let's say you send one on the first day. So I'm going to change this. I'm going to say let's say you send it on day 1, 2, 3, 4, and you might take a break then and do it on 7, 10, something like that, okay? So what you're doing in this email autoresponder is you're trying to build a relationship with the people who are getting these emails. and you're genuinely trying to give them something that's of value, that helps them solve the problem that your business solves for them. So if their lead magnet was, say, a cheat sheet, then in the email autoresponder, you talk to them about whatever the topic of that cheat sheet is, and you talk to them about how to use different techniques to get the result that they want to get. Now, all the time in these emails, you're not doing a hard sales pitch. You're not saying, here's my online course, buy it now, or here's my product, buy it now. What you're doing is you're simply giving them something that's genuinely of value and teaching them something, or creating credibility, basically, where they see you as an expert in your field. They see you as somebody trustworthy. So typically you'll see, and I would write this as value, value. So that's kind of the main component of each of these emails. And then maybe at email number 4, you might have a soft sell. And that's where you mention your product or service that helps them to solve this problem. And then maybe in the next one, you do a soft sell. And then in the next one, you do a hard sell. And that's where you say, here's a link to buy our product. It's 10% off if you buy it in the next 24 hours. And so you can see at this point, if they've gotten all these emails, you will have built up a certain amount of trust and credibility with them. And at this point, then when they're getting towards the end of this, they're getting closer to being ready to make a decision to purchase. So that's the first kind of component of the automated sales funnel, is the lead magnet, which is a low price product, a zero price product, into the email.
Are you finding this video useful? Please hit like below the video to help other business owners to find this information.
The next thing that you can do, and quite typically it's the first product that you actually offer to sell them here, is what sometimes is called a Tripwire, which is a pretty horrible name. Sometimes it's called a loss leader. So in the supermarket retail industry, this would typically be called a loss leader, and it's a low price product that you hear advertised on the radio, or you see it in the newspapers. And the purpose of it is just to get the customers in the door, and they'll make up the lack of margin, they'll make it up in the other products. So that's the first component, is the lead magnet. So then the next thing is what we'll call a tripwire, or loss leader. Now, this tripwire loss leader is typically between $5 and $20. So can you see that? Yeah, it's not off the edge of the screen, good. Okay, so it's typically between $5 and $20. So it's a low price product. And all this is simply to get somebody to make a purchase. You're not actually doing this in order to make a profit off this particular product. All you want somebody to do is put in their credit card, or however they're going to pay you, and actually take the step of paying, so that they go from being somebody who's interested in your product to actually being a customer. And at that point, that flicks a switch in their brain where once they've spent money with you and then they get something of value in return, that they are now a customer of yours, and that changes the way that they view you and trust you completely. So that's the difference between somebody getting access to something for $1, which you'll see a lot of membership trials are for $1, as opposed to completely for free. There's a big jump between those two. So this tripwire can typically be something like an ebook, or something that genuinely, again, it has to genuinely be of value to them and helping them. I like the ebook or workbook. It could be a paid workshop of some kind, a paid webinar, something like that. So the purpose of this, again, is just to get them to go from being somebody who hasn't yet paid anything for any of your products to actually being a customer of yours. So that's the tripwire. That's the next And then after the Tripwire is your main product. And again, this was originally developed in terms of information marketing industry. So it does translate across to other industries, but you'll see a lot of the examples that are used are in information marketing or online marketing. So your main product then would typically be something like $100 to $300 in value. And so that's, they call this an online sales funnel because you're going from somebody who comes in, the top is basically is a visitor. They go from being a visitor up here to being a subscriber to being a new customer and then to being basically a valued customer or I guess like a regular. And now at that point when they've taken the step of buying your main product, you can then also offer them an upsell of some kind, which might be something of much higher value. So that could be like a €5,000 paid in-person workshop, something like that, where they travel. So the higher ticket price stuff you can get into once you've developed their trust and you've got them to this stage. Now, I did say the word upsell, and that is something that can really be interesting. At each point along the stage here, so when they do the opt-in for the lead magnet, what you can do is after they opt in and they get to the thank you for subscribing to our email, at that point you can then make them the offer for the trip sale on that thank you page. And this is where the sales funnel idea really works very well, because the best time to offer somebody something for sale is just after they've bought something or just after they've taken some positive action, because they feel positively about you at that point. So what you can do is on the thank you page for your lead magnet, for when they've opted in and they're going to download your cheat sheet or whatever that is, you can say, would you like to get our workbook or our ebook, which is a $30 value for only $10, click here. And that takes them into that sales process. Now they can say no and they can just go get the free lead magnet, which a lot of people do, but surprisingly a significant amount of people will also go for the Tripwire and go on to pay. And I know that's a horrible word, it's just it's so ingrained in me now because I see it so often, but this Tripwire loss leader, it should be a no-brainer. That's the idea. It should be so easy for them to make the decision because they get a lot of value for very, very little money. So it should be very easy for them to take that step. So they then go and they go for this low value product or low priced product. And on the thank you page for that, you can then offer them another upsell. You say, thank you for buying the Tripwire. Would you like to buy our main product, which is normally $300, but because you've opted in and you've bought our Tripwire, we'd like to offer you that today for 30% off or 40% off, whatever that is. And you say, and so these are sometimes called a one-time offer or an OTO, you'll see them written as. And the one-time offer is, you'll only get it while you're on this page, so it's a one-time thing. It's a huge discount. You can come back later and you can still purchase it later, but this discount is available this one time. And so you can offer them then that main product. Now, you can add in all sorts of different steps in this. With your upsells, you can also offer downsells. So let's say they say no, they say yes to the Tripwire product, but they say no to the main product. If they do that, then you can offer them a downsell, which is some sort of other lower valued product. So something that might be, say, $50, and you can offer them that. And typically there is a rule, because obviously this could be very irritating for somebody who just wanted to get one thing, and then they keep getting these offers and they're saying, okay, I'll just give me what I paid for, or just give me what I subscribed for. So typically what people say is, if they say no twice, that's it. So stop your process of making more offers. So if they say no to your upsell and then they say no to a downsell, then don't offer them anymore. So that's the kind of the typical sequence in an online sales funnel. So it can be really effective because what you're doing is you're capturing much more of these people who were just going to leave anyway into this by getting them to subscribe. And what you can, there are kind of more advanced steps that I'll talk to you about in another video, where what you can do is you can take the people who didn't subscribe, and you can use a technique called retargeting, which is where you have your Facebook page linked up with your, you can have your Facebook and your Google AdWords account linked up with your website, so that if somebody visits your site and doesn't go ahead, what you can do is you can have an ad appear in their Facebook for that same thing. And so I'm sure you've seen it, where you've been looking at something and then suddenly you've been looking at YouTube and you see ads for it. You're looking at Facebook, you see ads for it. That's called retargeting. And again, it's to capture these people who are leaving and who might have bought, who might be interested, but didn't just take it at the time because maybe they were too busy, they were on their phone, or they had food on the cooker, or so they got distracted. So it's to try and capture more of those people who might have been interested, and so you retarget them with those ads. I'll go into that because it's a bit more of an advanced technique. I'll go into that in another video. But the basics of the online sales funnel are to offer some sort of incentive to subscribe to an email, then to have an email sequence, as well as that to have your products set up so that you have something free, which is your email opt-in incentive, and then to have something of low cost, which is your Tripwire loss leader, and then to have your main product, and to offer these in on the thank you page as an upsell. So I hope you found this video useful. So please leave a comment below and let me know what are the topics you'd like me to do a whiteboard on. Cheers.
Did you like this video? If you did, please let me know by giving me a thumbs up below the video.